23169. All right, we are here today for the initial disposition of father, I believe, but we'll confirm that after appearances.
Lee Heiss, lawyer guardian ad litem.
Mother.
Sorry, Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Colbert?
Eva Kopis, child welfare specialist with MDHHS.
Michael McFarland, representing mother, who is in the bathroom right now, Your Honor.
Oh, all right. So Ms. Jasmine Carver is the parent whose disposition we're looking at for today. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, your name?
Jasmine.
All right, come on up and have a seat next to Mr. McFarland. Welcome. All right, we have all the players. Let's go ahead. Ms. Heiss, your report.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was able to visit, both children are placed with their, one with their father, one with their putative father. I was able to schedule visits with both children. I had to cancel for Isabel's visit, but Reese, I was able to visit through Zoom, and his father is a real strength for him, is a very knowledgeable person in child rearing. He has an extended family that helps with the child. The child has structure. She has I'm talking about Reese this time. He has nurture. He looks comfortable in the home. He had not lived there permanently before, so this is new for him, but he looks very well adjusted. He and his dad seem to have a bond. They physically touch each other and look very comfortable around each other. And then Isabel, I look forward to meeting with her father by Zoom. They're both placed out of Lenawee County, and I think that concludes my report right now.
Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Kopis can be sworn in to give her report and the request for disposition started.
Yes. Go ahead.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Kopis. How are you involved in this matter?
I'm the assigned foster care worker to the case.
And did you prepare a court report with a proposed case service plan today?
I did.
And included in that report, did you also include the DNA test results for minor child I. Carver?
Yes.
And then I believe this morning we received trauma checklists for these children. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, if I may inquire from fellow counsel and this court whether those were received by all parties?
Yes.
Yes.
So I have the court report. Proposed case services plan, a DNA test report. Case services report, trauma screening checklist for both children. No, no other additional exhibits. Trauma assessments, trauma screenings.
Screenings.
Okay, yes, I have the screen.
Thank you. And Ms. Kopis, on your cover letter, you indicate the name of another family in the opening paragraph. Would you like to amend that to reflect the last name of the children or Ms. Carver's last name there instead?
Yes, I apologize for the error.
Your Honor, if we may, just for clarity's sake, on that cover page, currently reads it's regarding the Varga Avalos family. If we could amend that, excuse me, to reflect the Carver Viezi family.
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, where are we looking?
It is on the MDHHS 5964.
Carver, okay, Carver. Got it.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Kopis, as it relates to your court report and all the attachments, are there any other amendments or modifications that need to be made to those documents?
No.
At this time, what do you believe that the children would be at a substantial risk of harm if they were to be returned to their mother's care today?
I do.
And can you just briefly elaborate what that harm would be?
The conditions that brought the kids have not been rectified. In my conversations with mother, I am also concerned with accountability towards the abuse and neglect that the children have received. We've had conversations briefly, and I'm concerned if mom understands the severity and where we're at and what exactly has happened to her children. The abuse that occurred has not been rectified, and the services have not been put in place in order to rectify those.
And the main condition that caused the children to come into care is physical abuse, is that correct?
It is, and in my conversations with mom up until recently, she had maintained regular contact with Keyshawn, who was the other alleged adult that perpetrated the abuse and neglect of the children.
And what is the current permanency goal for the children?
Current permanency goal is reunification, also family preservation. Both children are placed with their biological fathers, with Reese being placed with his legal father as well.
Sorry, I just am reviewing the dates on some of these things. For the DNA, for the little girl, was that entered into a different custody case as well?
I believe that case is through a different county, and I apologize for not knowing it off the top of my head. I want to say it's through Washington.
Okay, that's fine. And do you know if there has been any update to the legal paternity status for her father?
I have not been made aware of any changes.
Okay. And today, is that part of the request of this court is to determine that Mr. McQueen is the child's legal or biological father?
Yes.
And currently, as relates to defining with mother, what are those barriers to reunification?
The barriers to reunification right now are housing, mental health treatment, parenting education, and maintaining contact away from Keyshawn. She also has a criminal proceeding, which my understanding that bond conditions remain in place, and that is preventing us from having parenting time.
Has the agency or the department started any services or made any referrals to address those barriers to reunification?
Not for mother at this time. We have started services on the children. That has been our main focus. Given the outcomes of the trauma checklist, as well as comments that Carver has made to dad and other family members, I also referred her for a trauma assessment.
And in preparing the proposed case service plan, were you able to consult with Ms. Carver on that?
I was briefly able to talk with her on the 12th on the removal, and then we briefly spoke on the 19th, and then we also spoke today. She is open to all services. Although I do have my concerns that I noted earlier, she is willing to do the services. She wants to reunify with her children. And so I do believe that she will try her best to be successful with this treatment plan.
And in your conversation with her, did she indicate whether there were any other additional services that she might benefit from?
We agreed that mental health treatment, specifically therapy, that she was struggling with the kids being gone, and that we thought therapy would be a best fit for her. Excuse me.
Thank you. And there is currently the no contact order from the criminal case. Do you have any updates on that case at all?
My understanding is that that case has been postponed until November 3rd. I don't have any updates.
Okay, that is fine. Is there any anything further you would like to bring to the court's attention from your court report or any of the attached documents?
I would just like to know that during the trauma screening checklist, the main reason for the trauma assessment is that I. Carver was making statements about sexual in nature, and there was an incident in which she tried to insert a toy into her sister during a bath time. And so with those two things, we believe that she needs further assessment.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions from Ms. Kopus and would move to admit the court report and the proposed case service plan.
No
With the
objection.
att-
No objection. No objection.
Thank you. They are received. Questions, Mr. McFarland?
Briefly, you reviewed this proposed case service plan with my client some time ago, correct?
We reviewed it briefly today prior to this hearing. We were scheduled to meet at 1 and we had met. And then we had 2 previous conversations in which we had discussed the services that would be put into the plan.
So she didn't sign it until today? Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
Okay.
But she was emailed to her at the email that she provided to the court on the 2nd.
And she's to have a psychological evaluation, correct?
That is one of the things you're requesting, yes.
And have you not made a referral for that?
Not at this time, no.
Can you tell us why she says she's willing to do everything that hasn't been done?
Was focusing on doing the children's referrals and their assessments first, and then working on towards mother next.
I guess I'm not understanding why a telephone call couldn't be made for referral.
Because a referral is not a simple phone call.
Okay, what does that consist of?
It consists of impiling all of her history, so all the court orders, any additional assessments that she may or may not have, any other assessments that the children may or may not have had, and then articulating that and what we are looking for into a memo.
Thank you. You indicated there's some individuals she's still having contact with. Who is that?
My understanding is his name is Kishan, and he is her co-defendant in her criminal hearing, and he was also the alleged other perpetrator in this case, which we dismissed because he was not a legal parent.
You know, I don't see in your case service plan that she's not supposed to have contact, correct?
That is correct.
Is that something that you want her not to have contact? I mean, it sounds like you don't want her to have contact. That's not in the case service plan. So
I
what's your
apologize.
position?
I apologize for not being articulated in the case service plan. My expectation is that she would not be made have contact with him, as he is her co-defendant, that it is alleged that he abused and neglected her children. And I've had this conversation with her in which she replied that he was her only support. Currently, the vehicle that she's living in is in his name. She still has contact with this person, and it is very concerning to the department. And so, no, I would request that she doesn't have contact with him.
Let me ask you, if she's living in his vehicle and may need some contact to get her clothes out or something, could she go through you and have you be that intermediary?
I have no contact with Kishan. I wouldn't be the good intermediary for that.
Or would you propose that she contact him if something is necessary?
I would propose that she find other arrangements for her housing, so that she does not have to communicate with him.
So would you consider, I don't want to make sure she's not doing something you don't want her to, but if she uses an agent, somebody to talk to him for her, would you consider that communicating?
My concern is more is what is the need to have conversations with him?
Okay, may I live in your car further? May I use the car further so you don't take it from me so I don't have transportation to go places, for example?
I don't believe that this is a positive support, and this is not someone that I would recommend that she continue to have support from.
Are you asking that that be included in the case service plan?
Yes.
Okay, nothing further.
Ms. Heiss?
You have been to IC's home, correct?
I have.
And you, maybe twice by now.
I have.
And did you find anything there that is concerning that we should know about?
No, actually, considering the fact that their dad has other children in the home is very well kept. The kids are very well behaved. I've been there with all of them. I've been there with dad trying to do homework with all of them. He manages quite well. Isabel is fitting in with her siblings. She's doing well to keep them. They're all
Perhaps
together.
not use first names.
I apologize. Thank you. IC is doing well in that home, yes.
In RV, you've been there to see him at least once,
I've seen him twice now.
twice now too. And anything concerning that we should know about?
I have no concern to his placement either.
Okay. Since these two placements are actually now at least biological fathers, could they be included in your like court reports, make sure they get the pleadings, like the orders after court and that kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, that concludes my questioning. Thank you.
Thank you. On that point, I did not receive a proof of service indicating that the court report of the attachments were served on the parties or the attorneys. Could you address that?
I have a copy for you. I also did email it this morning as well, whichever you prefer. I have just a letter, or the email highlights that I had emailed it to her, and a copy of it.
A cop, so who did you send it to by email?
I emailed it to Mother, a copy of the case service plan. And so I just have a copy of the case service plan and an email showing that it was emailed to her.
So did she receive the court report?
Yes. And the case service plan. Sorry, I'm using one verbiage and I should be using two. The court report and the case service plan were together in that email.
Okay, and that went this morning?
No, that email went out on the 2nd. The proof of service and the trauma checklist came today.
Got it. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. So we'll just look for your proof next time with your court report 7 days ahead of time.
Thank you.
And email service is fine. That's generally speaking how, we can make sure that everybody gets it 7 days ahead of time. So mom, by extension, needs to make sure she has a good email address with you.
She did admit that she had received it.
Good.
Thank you.
Questions based on my questions?
Thank you.
Ms. Coppins, we also talked about in the future, in addition to Mr. McFarland and myself, if you would send to pdo.probate@lenawee.mi.us. That way our clerk can put the documents in our file.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Nothing further.
Thank you for your testimony. May I return your seat? Thank you. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
I'd like to call my client, please, Your Honor.
All right, okay. Ms. Jasmine Carver, come on up to our witness stand.
Please raise your right hand.
Sorry.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Careful, there's a stack here.
How would you like me to call you today?
Jasmine.
Okay, Jasmine, you're going to need to speak up your little soft voice, okay?
I'm sorry about that.
Okay, you're fine now. You and I have had an opportunity to go over the proposed case service plan, correct?
Yes.
That's what they want, the proposal for the court to order you to do and the agency to do and the placement to do, correct?
Yes.
Do you understand what's in it now?
Yes.
And are you willing to have the court order everybody into that case service plan?
Yes.
Understanding that's kind of your roadmap, that's your instructions on what you have to do to get this case closed. Do you understand?
Yes.
Oh. You also heard the worker indicate that there's an individual she'd like you not to have contact with, which is a co-defendant on your criminal case, correct?
Yes.
Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, currently, I don't have anything. I've been stripped of my job, my home, and so that's the only person who has shown me any kindness throughout this and letting me stay in the car and having transportation to where I need to go.
So telling us you sleep in a car right now?
Yes, I lost my home due to this whole case.
Would you like assistance from the agency in helping you find someplace rather than a vehicle to sleep in?
That would be wonderful. I would like to do anything that I can and make any steps that I can into improving my life at home and the life of my children.
If the agency were to provide you transportation tickets, let's say for Dial a Ride or Lonely Transportation, so you can get to these appointments and other things, would that be helpful?
Absolutely.
Do you need help perhaps assisting you in finding a job?
I have recently just got a job at Frickers where I have to go today at 4. So I believe I am okay in that area right now.
And when you get your paychecks, can you give a copy to the worker so she knows that you're working, because that's required that you are employed?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would need help on this case?
I'd really like to start a career in schooling. I want to further my life and build a career and a stable home for me and my children.
You understand this other individuals accused of doing some things to your children that are inappropriate, correct?
Yes.
Okay. They find you housing and give you transportation tickets. Would there be any need for you to have this car then?
No.
Is there somebody who you can have communicate to this individual rather than you?
I don't have anybody. He was the only person I had left.
If you need to reach out to them, is that something you could do by email and not telephone? So there's a record of what you guys say.
What was that? I'm sorry.
If you feel the need to reach out to them, is that something you can do by email or text so your worker can have a copy?
Yes, I have recently blocked him just because I have been told that I can't have any contact with him.
If this court orders that you have no contact with him, are you okay with that position?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure what your position is. Any other issues that we need for the court to address before this court orders everybody into the case service plan?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Is there another court that has no contact, like a bond condition or something that prevents?
Yes, I had asked my attorney to see if we could change that so we could have some supervised visits or maybe go through classes together, like mommy and me classes or something, and they said,
So this is contact between you and your children?
yes.
Okay, I was talking about you and Keyshawn Harrell. Is there a no contact
No,
bond
there
condition?
No, there's a there is no contact
Okay.
between us.
Thank you for clarifying. Mr. McQueen, you're muted, which is probably good because if I were able to hear what you were saying, I have a feeling I'd be telling you not to interrupt. So just be patient, and if you like, you can turn your video off. Okay, Ms. Thomas, any questions for Ms. Carver?
I have none, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Heiss.
Yes, Jasmine, the DNA test that came back, do you agree that it is accurate in reflecting that Carrie McQueen is the father of IC?
Yes.
And have you ever been married to anybody?
No.
So you weren't married at the time that IC was born, correct?
No.
Do you want the judge to make Mr. McQueen the legal father of IC?
He is her father.
He is her biological father. Leading up to this case, had IC visited with Mr. McQueen?
Yes.
Okay. And then is there a custody case between you and Mr. McQueen?
No, I did file for child support on both fathers, but that was the only thing.
What county was that in?
It was 3 Lenawee.
And when did that happen?
It happened back in June. I was having a hard time financially supporting both kids. So, and I was receiving benefits from the state, and to be in compliance with my benefits from the state, I was to go through child support.
Okay, we're finding that these fathers have, for example, housing and income sufficient to take care of the children. Do you have any reason to believe their needs are not being met in these placements?
Not financially, no.
Okay. So you believe the needs are being met?
Yes. And I'm able to help out with that in any way I can if I'm able to.
With your criminal charges, is it accurate that your next court date on that is November 3rd?
Yes.
Is that in front of which judge?
Shadler, I believe, Laura Shadler.
All right. Who is your attorney for that case?
Rhonda Underwood.
Do you know if any charges against Keyshawn Harrell have been, has he figured out his charges yet?
He has the same ones as mine, but there's really nothing against him. He was never really home. He was always at work. So he has the same charges as me, but they're not as bad as mine.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. May I return to your seats? Anyone else you want us to get?
So thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Heiss?
I have no witnesses today. Thank you.
Ms. Thomas, any comments in closing?
Thank you, Your Honor. Given the DNA test results and that the child is placed with Mr. McQueen, we would ask that you find or make a judicial determination that he is the child's legal father in this matter. Otherwise, we would request that Ms. Carver be ordered into the case service plan as proposed today and set this matter for a 90-day review. Thank you.
Mr. Farrell?
I think that's appropriate.
Ms. Heiss?
I agree that that's appropriate. We have some really strong fathers in this case. It's such a relief for these children to have that resource. Thank you.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's review, initial disposition hearing. We still apparently have outstanding bond conditions that prohibit visits between this parent and child. In the event those are lifted, any parenting time that must be undertaken must be supervised by the department. And I'm still looking for an outstanding recommendation from any counselor or expert on the duration, frequency, and appropriateness of parenting time. So hopefully, as a result of those trauma assessments, there will be a recommendation for parenting time that was ordered in the preliminary hearing. Upon consideration of those bond conditions and the outstanding charges for mom, I have received the court report indicating there are some services underway, spearheaded by Ms. Kopis, of course. I think Mr. McFarland made his point today that we'd like to have those services in place as quickly as possible. Clearly, Ms. Carver needs some assistance in securing some resources to help her put some more space between her and her co-defendant. But I hear very clearly concerns from Ms. Kopis and some of our other non-respondent parents of the continued contact between these two individuals, and I could see the issue there. So it will be up to Ms. Jasmine Carver to make her own way moving forward, but of course, the priority of this court will always be the children, and exposure to this individual is absolutely not appropriate. And I would hope, Ms. Carver, in the near future that you'll be able to find a way to make your separation from this person a little more permanent, because that is certainly what is within the best interest of the children in this particular case. And if you are still seeing him at the time it becomes time to look at parenting time, there will be no unsupervised parenting time until and unless you're able to sever that connection with this person. And furthermore, if there's any indication during parenting time that you're continuing to advocate a position that is contrary to the children's welfare, or even talking to them about this person, then we'll have to suspend parenting time as well through this court. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's very, your children have been through some very serious things as a result of what's happened. And there's no question that this individual should not be part of their reality moving forward. All right. Ms. Heiss is also certainly in compliance with her obligations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There remains a substantial risk of harm associated with returning these two children to the care of their mother, although not any harm, as we've seen, with continuing their care with their fathers. So in that sense, they are certainly in the safest and least restrictive place at this time, considering that mom still has outstanding criminal charges. and all of the issues that are associated with that, as well as the housing and income that she's articulated for us on the record today. The children will remain in the sole care and custody of their fathers moving forward. I didn't hear a lot about visitation, but I'm just going to take a moment to say that I do want to see these kids be able to see each other. I often hear from older children that their experiences are most memorable with respect to the fact that they have or have not been able to see their siblings. It's a point that they take a lot away from. So please make your best efforts to see if you can arrange for these kids to be able to continue to see each other, and I'll look for that from Ms. Copus as well. The case services plan is appropriate. It targets the areas that have been identified by this board in the past, as well as revisited today. And it will be the measuring stick, if you will, moving forward on whether or not there's progress being made. And unless there's any questions, we'll come back on January 4th at 2:30 for our next, or a first regular review, January 4th, 2024 at 2:30. Unless there's any